Hello, this is Joe. Welcome back to the channel. Well, this is one of my favorite typewriters. This is an Olivetti Studio 44. It's made in Invria, Italy, and it has a wonderful typeface. It's called Elite Book, and I've been using this for a few years, but it has one particular problem that I've mentioned before on this channel, and that is it doesn't have a carriage return lever. Well, it does. It's in the case, but the shaft where the carriage return lever mounts to the line spacing mechanism was twisted off, broken off by the previous owner. I've actually been using this machine and I've enjoyed using it, and essentially what I do for the line advance is I just go click, click, and push the carriage back with my left hand. But anyways, I was typing on it the other day, enjoying it, but I started noticing in my test typing here that if I start typing really light, like I like to challenge my machines to see how easy of a touch I can put on it and still have it perform well. Well, I noticed that some of the letters, notably the L, the lowercase l, was noticeably lighter in printing than the others when I started easing off on the force I was using. And I went and looked at the lowercase l type bar, and it was rubbing a little bit on the right side of the type guide. So I did a little bit of adjustment to that, but that didn't actually fix the problem. And it only, has this problem when you're really trying to type really lightly, like I like to kind of challenge my machines to do. Well, fortunately, I have the Olivetti Letterer 32 and Studio 44 Repair Bible from Ted Monk. And so I went in there, and there's a test that you can do to see whether your ring and cylinder adjustment is proper. Now, the ring and cylinder is basically amounts to the forward or backward position of the carriage relative to the slugs at the typing position or the printing position. And as it turns out, the carriage looks like it is too far back, or most likely the rubber on the platen is shrunk. So basically the ring where the anvil of the type bar hits is tight, but the face of the type slugs at the platen is very loose. So it's not getting as good enough of an imprint. And if I really bang on the keys hard, I can get a consistently dark imprint. So in the manual, there is an adjustment procedure for adjusting the back and forth position of the carriage. I have not done it, and I don't even know if it's going to work, at this point. So we're going to take the bottom of the typewriter off, we're going to take the body off and get to these adjustment points. There's 2 screws on either side of the carriage, and supposedly, according to the manual, I can control the forward and backward position of the carriage. Okay, so this is the sample typing I did, typing very lightly on the keyboard. You can see the repeated L's I'm doing. The L's are printing really too light. And here, when I really bang on the keys, I can print darker. So according to the manual, I think I have too much space between the typeface and the platen. So the ring and cylinder needs to be adjusted. Okay, so if we do the ring and cylinder test here, let's go ahead and use the letter L. And we put our spacer paper between the anvil and the ring, and it's nice and tight. I feel a lot of grabbing there, but then at the platen, there's no gripping at all. The paper can slip right through there. So there's too much gap between the surface of the platen and the surface of the typeface. So we need to move the carriage further forward, closer to the type bars. So we're going to have to take off this screw, and the 2 corresponding ones on the reverse side. There's also some rubber washers underneath the 2 rear screws. Take those out. Then we should be able to take the body off and get the chassis accessible for our adjustments. To get this body off, it's a little tricky. I'm going to move the carriage all the way to the left and then lift the right side of the body, and you can see this frame right here. Maybe you can see it. This frame right here is kind of rubbing on that insulation, and you just kind of have to get it off that insulation and move the body to the left, like that. Okay, so it looks like we have this screw, the two screws on the back of the carriage frame. So this is the side view of the carriage frame looking from the right side. And this screw P, we basically have to jack it up or down, and you can see these two curved arcs. Well, if you raise the back of the frame, you're going to move the platen more forward in this bottom arc, and if you lower it, you'll pull the platen back and it'll be further from the typeface. So we want to raise this jacking screw to force the carriage frame to be tilted more forward. To move the platen, the four screws which secure the carriage to the sides of the machine must be loosened gradually, and as the movement of the carriage is carried out and the checks effected, the screws should be screwed in thoroughly. So looking on the left side, I'm thinking it's this screw and this screw are the ones for the left side, and there's two corresponding screws on the other side. So we're going to have to remove the bottom panel of the machine in order to get to those screws. Okay, so this is going to take a 6mm wrench to loosen the locking nut. Should we do a half a turn? It takes a tiny little slotted screwdriver. So we'll call it half a turn. And we'll try to do the same on this other side, equal amount if we can. Okay, half a turn tighter. And then we will tighten up the two screws on each side. So I've reinstalled the 4 feet absent the bottom plate so that it'll sit off of the mechanism and I can operate it without the bottom plate in place. So let me go see if I can test this and see if it's any better or if I need to adjust these anymore. Well, okay, let's try this out. Ah, yes, it does look darker. The last 2 rows right there, that looks really nice and dark. I just have to adjust the on feet in motion to get the upper and lower case to match up. So there are 2 adjustments for the upper and lower case. Here's the one on the left. There's an equivalent one on the right. There is a set down adjustment for the capitals that are down here, and then the lower case is on the top here. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen this guy, and we will do a little adjustment to it. So 7mm wrench. Okay, so now what I need to do is, referencing my piece of paper, I need to lower the lower case. So I need it to come down a little bit. So I'm going to drive it down about a 1/4 turn maybe. It looks like maybe a little bit too far. Okay, so now let's do the right side. Okay, I'm going to make it about 1/8 of a turn, because that 1/4 turn last time was a little too much. Let's see how that prints. So that looks pretty good right there on both left and right sides. So let's do some more test typing. And now, I have a bulletin just handed to me. If you like this program, please like and subscribe. One thing I'm noticing, there's a little bit of a red tinge to the bottom of the characters I'm going to adjust the ribbon lift for that. Okay, so on the right side of the typewriter are two cam adjustments, these little screws with eccentric cams. The bottom one is for the top position of black color, and the top one is for the red color. So as I type a character, you can see that arm moving and hitting the cam. So that is the bottom screw adjustment, 7mm wrench. There it goes. Okay, I'm going to turn it a quarter turn, or maybe an eighth of a turn clockwise, and see what we got. And capitals. Well, that looks pretty good. Let's try locking it down and we can test it some more. So one of the things you want to check on when you are adjusting the lift of the ribbon is to make sure that you don't adjust the ribbon lift too much on the black where you start getting letters cut off. I was getting letters cut off up here, so I had to back off on the adjustment, but I got the right point now where the red all prints good upper and lower case, and the black prints all good upper and lower case. On the lowercase, you want to check your descenders, especially for the letters J, Y, and P and Q. Make sure J, Y, P, and Q, make sure the descenders are nice. Well, this was one of those videos where I didn't really know if I would be able to actually do the repair or not because I've never done it before on a Studio 44. So that was interesting. So lifting the two rear jacking screws kind of pivots the carriage forward, which moves the platen closer to the faces of the type. But then you have to adjust the on-feed in motion, the shifting, to get your shifting back into position, and also a little bit of the ribbon lift. In this case, it was mainly the black, the upper part, to get that back into shape. Anyways, those three adjustments worked really well. I'm glad I had the manual. Again, I really thank Ted Monk for making available these typewriter repair Bibles. If you need yours, I'll leave a link down below to his typewriter repair Bibles for sale. And in any event, this machine was going to be thrown out. The previous owner of it, because it had the broken off carriage return lever shaft, he didn't want to use it that way. And to be honest with you, I probably couldn't give this away to most people. Most people that are even into typewriters wouldn't want it because they don't want to do the little click, click, push for the carriage return. But to me, it's just about as easy as using the lever. Visually, it has more symmetry to the body without the lever being on the left side. That's, an aesthetic thing. But it's just as usable to me as it would be if it had the lever. And now, with this beautiful typeface, what is it, Book Elite, I think it was? I really love the typeface on this machine, and now it prints even better with the alignments done. So if you have a machine like this that you really love certain things about it, but it isn't quite right, I would encourage you to pursue getting a typewriter repair Bible if there's one available for your machine. Or if you have a professional typewriter shop in your area, it's always good to support their business as well. And as always, stay creative and have yourselves a great day.